also the stadium news. We're certainly glad you're here with us on this Thursday night. We are counting down to the Bills and the Packers in that Sunday night football matchup here in Western New York. It's the first one with fans in the stands in a decade and a half. Think of that. As mentioned, we'll chat with Tony Dungy and Matthew Berry in a bit, but we are going to start with what everybody is talking about today, those renderings released by the team showing the new stadium. Now, we only got 2 images, but there is sort of a lot to unpack with it. The design of the big concourse area, those giant buffaloes, and then this look inside the stadium, how the sections might be laid out, the canopy, and more. This afternoon, 2 On Your Side sports reporter Julianne Pelusi spoke with Pagula Sports and Entertainment Executive Vice President Ron Raccuia. He doesn't do a ton of interviews about this, so here is an extended look at what he had to say today about these new renderings.
I feel really comfortable with what we put out. Okay, that was not all of that. Somebody let me know if we're going to be able to go back to that, or was that just sent the wrong way. Let's do this. We had that opportunity to talk to Raccuia today about those renderings. We also asked him about the stadium deal. Remember that right now the team has just a memorandum of understanding with the state and the county. They've been hammering out a final contract. It has been delayed, though all sides have repeatedly said it's going well. Here's what Raccuia had to say on that front. We're working every day to get this agreement closed. It's a very complex agreement. The county executive has said that from day one. He's 100% right. But the state, the county, and us are diligent trying to get this deal finished, and we're working on it every day.
How much can this new stadium, benefit the community as a whole?
Oh, I think it's going to benefit the community tremendously. The fact that the Buffalo Bills are going to be here for the next 30 years is something that's never happened in the history of the Buffalo Bills. That is a tremendous benefit to the community in and of itself. This is not going to just be a football stadium. Yes, we're going to play football here, but we're going to have areas that the community can come, utilize, celebrate every day of the year, and we think it's going to be used tremendous.
All right, in terms of asking about comments that came from the debate earlier this week, remember Republican gubernatorial candidate Lee Zeldin suggests that maybe the deal should be renegotiated because so much taxpayer money is being spent on this. Ron Raccuia asked about that today, and he simply said he had no comment about it as those negotiations continue. So let's continue the conversation right now with John Cimperman. He is a former sports marketing executive and joins us now live. He is owner of 42 North Brewing. It's great to have you on the show, especially on a day like this. We get to see these new renderings. Everybody's trying to, figure out a million things just by looking at a couple of images. But we do kind of learn a lot. And in Ron Raccuia's comments today, he told us that he thinks this is not going to change a lot because it was kind of like, are these renderings just, something they're throwing out there? This is what he says the stadium is going to look like by and large. What are your takeaways as you look at them?
Well, hey, thanks for having me. And yeah, no, exciting time for Western New York and for Bills fans. Ron's correct. I mean, they have it sounds like 2026 is a far way away, but that is the timeline, and there's a lot of work to be done. So it was really exciting to see the renderings, and personally, I was really excited to see them. I just love how the facility, is unique to Buffalo, and it's not in any way a cookie cutter venue. So that's really exciting to see.
John, Ron Raccuia also talked about whenever you look at the interior shot of the stadium, you can see kind of like a red hue over it. And he talked about that being overhead heaters because, everybody's talking about, all right, here we are building a new stadium. We're not going to do a dome. Everybody's got an opinion on that. But we can also see kind of the overhang. He says 65% of the seats will actually be covered because of that big overhang. But it's not a dome, right?
Right.
Where do you think they kind of tried to please everybody here without going the dome route, but putting in some heaters? How much does that help?
Yeah, I really, I'm more of an old school fan, right? So I love being in the elements, and I think it adds to the game. In many ways, it adds to the experience. So I think it's really the best of both worlds, where while the elements are something that, both teams have to play through and creates a real unique environment, some of those creature comforts, whether it be heat from above or heated seats are also great to have in Western New York. So, I think it's a matter of, I really think it's the best of both worlds for that facility.
John, where do you think we are in the process right now, right? We've gotten these couple of renderings. There is no signed deal yet. The state, the county, the Bills, Pagula Sports and Entertainment, they all say they're making progress.
Right.
And there have been some extensions. And I think everyone expects, look, they're going to sign a deal. They're going to do this big long-term lease. Right. But how much of a factor is that in terms of moving forward with some of these plans? I mean, we get these renderings, but are there other plans that are sort of on hold a little bit until you actually sign the piece of paper?
Well, I mean, from what I see and from what I hear, it's been all systems go, working with architects as well as some of the other consultants that PSE has engaged. So I don't believe it's at all held down the process of designing the facility. Obviously, before any information can go out on tickets and PSLs and the others, we have to get that community benefits agreement done first. But from everything I hear, that it's a complicated deal. It's not being rushed, and hopefully, sometime over the next month or so, that'll get finalized. So. But it's not slowing down the design process, so we shouldn't be concerned about that.
And so what will you be watching for, John, as we go forward here? We get these renderings now. I mean, you have to imagine there will be more renderings. There will be more things that kind of, get revealed to the public.
Yeah, no, what I'm most excited about, the pretty pictures of the exterior and the fan areas out front are awesome. But I really think what fans are going to be experiencing, which is going to be night and day from the current facility, is inside, right? And we're talking concourses. We're talking, some really cool seating areas. So, that's what I'm most excited about is the fan experience inside the building. The food and beverage elements, the unique fan experiences. The ability to roam a concourse and maybe even get a peek at the field. So it's the stuff inside that I really think is going to impress fans, because the current facility, being as old as it is, was designed for a much different fan experience.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Before you go, John, we mentioned that you now own 42 North in East Aurora. We've got this big game on Sunday night. I think it's going to, maybe it doesn't surprise people. It surprised me. You have to go all the way back to 2007, the last time we had a Sunday night football game in Orchard Park with fans in the stands. Obviously, we had one during the pandemic, but there's nothing like Sunday night football. We're a little bit biased here at Channel 2 because we get to carry the game, but I imagine you're ramping up for a party where you are as well.
Well, it's for us actually. Got to tell you, the night games, especially Sunday night games, are great because we actually close our doors at 8 o'clock on Sundays, so we become a great place for the pregame experience. And all of our employees can go home or go to the game. So we love these evening games. It creates a really nice environment, and creating a tailgate experience at the brewery beforehand.
And you know that the whole country is going to be watching, much like a lot of the country was. Remember, the CBS game just a couple of weeks ago was also a national broadcast game. All eyes on the Bills right now as they're just playing so well. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. John Cimperman is a former sports marketing executive, owns 42 North Brewing. Thanks so much for coming on and helping us as we all kind of digest these renderings.
Right. Exciting times. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.